Hello and welcome to the GMS Magazine channel. I am Paco Garcia, your host, and this is Taiko, your very scared co-host because there are noises outside and he doesn't like that. This is another one, the second in the Blast from the Past series, where I'm revisiting some of the games that got me into role-playing games and some of the little gems that I have in my collection that some people have asked about. So, well, I thought I'm going to show it to you. Now, this book in here, El Señor de los Anillos, El Juego de Rol de la Tierra Media, this is the Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth role-playing game, except that, because, you know, I'm from Spain, it's in Spanish. I don't know if the original was published exactly the same. I know it came in a box. Are you going? Okay. It came in a box. Yeah, I'm covering here. It came in a box, but the one that I managed to get my hands on at the time is this hardback with the classic illustration, where we can see, you know, everyone basically in here, which is very cool indeed. This game was originally published by Iron Crown Enterprises, company that's still going on and still creating some very cool things. That also published Rollmaster, which is the game with the most amount of tables ever, that we also played a lot. And in Spain it was published by Jogs International, a company from Catalonia who, you know, invested very heavily, and then it went off like most publishers in Spain, which is a pity, but here we go. So the book that I got is a very nicely bound hardback that's lasting quite a while, I have to say, since I believe that I bought this book in 1992, which is like 30 years ago now, which is a long time. I'm looking into it. We find I'm going to smile a lot while looking at this book, okay, because I have so many memories. And I'll tell you how I started with this game in particular. You know, I used to do martial arts. I know I might don't look like an athlete, but I was. And I had a dislocated knee. It was very painful. It was horrifical, on the 28th of December 1992. And my friend Jacobo, said, okay, whilst you're convalescent, why don't we play role-playing games at your place? And I thought, oh yes, please, thank you. So he brought his copy of The Lord of the Rings, and we started to play, and I hated it. I hated it so badly, because in the first game, two large lizards that I had no idea where they came from, they really beat the crap out of me, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Of course, at the time, we didn't know about adjusting the enemies, so just playing with one player wouldn't be like playing with four, and you have to be careful and don't get too attached to characters and so on and so forth. But hey, I was young, what can I say? It was 30 years ago. So don't hate me. And still, I decided to persevere because I thought the lore was absolutely beautiful and gorgeous and fantastic. Little that I knew that the lore that comes here, it's questionable compared with the lore from Tolkien, but that was absolutely fine. That was I really didn't care at all. I really loved it. The lore itself, not the experience of playing with my friend. That was jarring. But again, I persevere. But compared to the D&D box that we looked at in the previous episode, you can already see how there's a much higher level of sophistication in this book than before. We get more people involved in the production. We have some Angus McBride, you know, the classical illustration. Terry Anther, Pete Feinland, Kurt Fisher, Prut Neilinger. You see, so many names, which is absolutely wonderful. Anyway, so I could just get lost into this, which is amazing. Yes, the first impression in Spain was 1989. This is February 1992, and that's the one I bought. So there you go. Things that I liked about this game, and things that were interesting to me at the time. Although today having, the critical tables, tables in which you roll and it tells you a kind of effect that takes place when you do a crit or when you do a fumble. Although today I wouldn't want to have that kind of tables, but at the time it saved me a lot of work because it stopped me from having to think what's going to happen with the critical when I was very, very new. So even though these tables are frowned upon nowadays, but the fact is, they save time and they make it easier for newcomers to see what happens. Then you can ditch them out or invent your own effects if you want to, or simply go to another game. But I do miss how that made the whole thing accessible. It didn't make it accessible mechanically speaking, because you have to be rolling dice and looking on tables, and the whole thing was slower in play, but it helped us put everything into context, into frame, and that is something that I very much appreciate and feel sometimes we are missing in some of the games, which means that for people who've just arrived, for people who need a little bit more of a spark to kickstart their imagination, we don't make it easy. So I miss that. I really miss that. Above all though, what I really miss of this game is the sense of immersion. Regardless of whether it was accurate to Tolkien's lore or not, the fact is that this game really helped bring the whole thing alive, to make it close to us, to make it accessible very easily. And even though it wasn't a particularly easy book to read, because there's a lot of words in here, yet we read it like, there's no tomorrow. We just at it so much. And I love the organization of the book and how it comes with its own adventure, with the characters, with absolutely everything you need, and some beautiful cartography that even to this day, it hasn't aged badly at all. Like at all. And that is wonderful. Yes, nowadays you see more details, but it hasn't aged badly. So I like that. I miss that. I like this of this book, and that's why I think it's worth remembering what happens. Now, again, I don't really know what the American edition was like, or the British edition was like. I would love if you could share some photograph of it, if you still have this book, because I'm sure it wasn't like this. I know there was a box somewhere that I remember in 1996 buying for a friend's son, but I never got one for myself. I was young. What can I tell you? So I would love to see your photographs of this and further supplements that came out. But this, is the book that, even though I hated it, even though I hated the first experience, it kept me going. Something wonderful about it. Thank you very much indeed for watching and coming with me in this journey of, commemorating and remembering older games. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Very, very, very much. I'll talk to you very soon. Take care.